Okay, let's unpack this. We're looking at some really fascinating notes today, right? Drawn from someone who's actually built, well, significant wealth. We're talking $100 million level.
Exactly. And these aren't just theories. This comes from their actual playbook, their principles.
So our mission here is basically to pull out the core strategies, the key mindset shifts from this source material.
Yeah, what really moved the needle for them. And it's interesting, it's not just finance.
No, it's very holistic. It touches on strategy, business, investing, even relationships and personal growth. It's a whole system.
Absolutely. And according to these notes, the real foundation where it all starts is mindset and strategy.
Right. And one of the first big ideas is thinking like a capital allocator. There's that quote you shared.
Oh, yeah. Every dollar is a soldier. Deploy it wisely. That really captures it.
It does. So it's not passive. It's actively directing every dollar.
Exactly. Maximizing return, managing risk, very intentional. Every single dollar has a job.
And a huge part of that strategy the source stresses is diversification of income. Don't rely on just one source.
Definitely. They list specific areas: real estate for cash flow, equities,
Yeah.
both blue chips and, emerging markets for growth.
Okay.
Private equity, so investing in startups or private companies,
Yeah.
and even intellectual property like royalties.
So building multiple streams makes sense. And they also mention leverage, but carefully.
Yes, very carefully. The key rule seems to be the cost of borrowing absolutely has to be lower than the expected return on the investment of funds.
So smart amplification, not just gambling.
Precisely. It's calculated risk.
Okay, so moving from that high-level strategy, there's a big emphasis on business acumen, too, like identifying undervalued opportunities.
Right. Finding assets could be a business, could be property where the market hasn't quite seen the full potential yet, looking for those hidden gems.
And then once you have it, focusing on operational excellence, making things run efficiently, making them scalable.
Yeah, because a business that runs well isn't just more profitable now, it's fundamentally worth more later.
Ah, right. It attracts better valuations because it shows predictability, potential for growth.
Exactly. Which leads straight into another critical point they make.
The exit strategy.
Always have one planned, whether it's going public, an acquisition, maybe a succession plan.
Thinking about the end game from the start. That shapes how you build it.
It absolutely does. It helps maximize the return when you eventually do exit.
Okay, let's shift specifically to investing. Compound growth is obviously huge here.
Fundamental. Reinvesting earnings, letting time do its work. It takes discipline, though.
And managing risk alongside that. Diversification again, but also actively adjusting the portfolio.
Yeah, constantly reviewing, tweaking based on the market, your goals. It's not set and forget.
And as wealth grows, taxes become a bigger factor. The notes mention legal structures.
For sure. Things like trusts, which can hold assets with tax benefits, potentially offshore accounts used legally for planning or protection, and tax-deferred investments.
Letting the money grow faster before taxes hit.
Right. Minimizing that tax drag legally is presented as core to keeping and growing capital.
Makes sense. Now, beyond the numbers, the source also touches on people networking, mentorship. Briefly, but it's there.
Yeah, it emphasizes that connecting with others brings insights, opportunities, support, things you just can't get from a spreadsheet.
True. And the last piece, something they call non-negotiable. Personal development.
Continuous learning, health, experiences. They see a sharp mind and a healthy body as appreciating assets.
Assets that fuel everything else. That's a powerful way to look at it.
It really is. Enables clear thinking, sustained effort.
So pulling it all together, why should this matter to you listening, even if $100 million isn't the goal?
Well, these core ideas, thinking strategically, diversifying, focusing on quality and efficiency, managing risk, using the right tools, investing in yourself, they apply everywhere.
Right. They're foundational for building value, security, whatever your aim is.
Exactly. The big takeaway isn't just the number. It's this whole integrated approach, finance, business, personal discipline, all working together.
And that final thought from the source is really something to consider. Building wealth means staying curious, staying humble, and always being ready to adapt.
Constant adaptation.
So maybe the question for you is, how can you apply that principle of continuous adaptation, that readiness to learn and adjust in your own journey, whatever path you're on?